The studio lights were blinding, the cameras rolling, and the audience buzzing with anticipation. It was supposed to be just another heated political debate, another night of sharp words and sharper comebacks. But no one knew that this evening would leave the nation talking for weeks, and change the course of one man's life forever. Senator Elizabeth Warren sat poised at her podium, papers neatly stacked, her gaze locked on her opponent. Across from her stood Robert Kennedy Jr., dressed in a dark suit that looked a little too worn for television, but with a quiet confidence in his eyes. The moderator had barely finished the opening question when Warren leaned forward, her voice slicing through the air. "Mr. Kennedy, your record is a disgrace. You've failed your constituents, you've misled the public, and frankly, you're an embarrassment to the office you hold." Gasps rippled through the live audience. Even the moderator blinked in surprise at the bluntness. Kennedy didn't flinch. He didn't even shift his weight. Instead, he lowered his gaze for a brief moment, as if replaying the words in his mind. Then he smiled, not smugly but sadly. "Senator Warren," he began, his voice calm and steady, "I understand why you feel that way. You see, the first thing people notice about me is the mistakes I've made. And I won't deny them. I've stumbled, in my career, in my personal life. There were years when I thought my work didn't matter, when I was so weighed down by loss that I couldn't see the people I was supposed to serve." The audience leaned in, sensing the conversation had shifted from political theater to something far more human. "When my wife passed away," he continued, his voice tightening, "I stopped showing up to community meetings. I missed votes. I ignored calls. People counted on me, and I let them down. But the thing about life, Senator, it has a way of breaking you before it teaches you." Warren, who moments earlier had been ready to pounce on every word, found herself frozen. This wasn't the defensive counterattack she had prepared for. Kennedy took a breath, steadying himself.
"One night, a woman from my district came to my home.
She stood on my porch and told me her son had died from an overdose. She didn't come to blame me. She came to ask me for help, because in her words, you used to be the one who cared when no one else did. That night, I realized I could either live with the label of disgrace, or I could fight for the people who still believed in me, even when I didn't believe in myself." The room was silent now. Even the usual clatter of keyboards from the press section had stopped. "So, Senator," he said, looking directly into the camera, "call me a disgrace if you must. But know this, disgrace is not the end of a man. It can be the beginning of something better. I have fought harder in the last 5 years than I ever did before. For our veterans, for our teachers, for those mothers who've buried their children.
I am not perfect.
But I am not done." Warren's expression had softened. Her lips pressed together, her eyes glistening. The moderator quickly shifted to the next question, but the air in the room was different now. Kennedy had not just defended himself, he had told a story of loss, humility, and redemption. By the end of the night, the hashtag not done was trending across social media. In the weeks that followed, people began sharing their own stories under that hashtag, tales of failure followed by perseverance, of shame turned into purpose. Kennedy's poll numbers began to rise, not because people suddenly agreed with every policy he had, but because they saw something in him they recognized in themselves, the fight to get back up. Months later, when asked in an interview why she had gone silent that night, Warren replied, "Sometimes, the best thing you can do in politics is listen. That night, I listened." And for millions watching, the lesson was clear. Your past may shape you, but it does not define you.
You are not your worst moment.
And no matter who calls you a disgrace, you are not done.